First, sharing is caring allows you to be sure that everybody starts from the same point, to motivate our daily action to be more structured in the right direction.
Welcome again. Thank you so much for being here today with us, Eric. We're in beautiful Elementis Ubud Villa, the very first villa. This is the show villa. Amazing place, amazing technology, amazing construction. We are here enjoying a nice breeze in Bali. So how do you feel today?
Really good. Thank you, Felipe, for inviting me.
Oh yeah, no, we're so glad to have you. So today, what we're going to talk is right in your sweet spot. The theme today is basically investment, right? And especially, we're going to touch on the investments in ESG. So just to get started and to get the ball rolling, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, what's your background? How did you actually start in the financial world?
Shortly. Yeah. In fact, my background is simple. I studied political science and economy in Belgium. Spent some time in the private sector. I think where I learned some business development skills. And I end up in Luxembourg, where I spent more than 10 years in learning in the financial sector. I founded and managed an asset management company, specialized in wealth management and financial structuring. This is where I learned some good tools. We forged some important relation with banks, institutions, and private partners. And in 2023, I decided to be present in the Emirates, invested in Dubai. And recently, early 2024, it was quite necessary to open something in Singapore and to enlarge our activities to make it more international.
Wow.
And it's quite a tough work to synchronize all of that, but we are happy to slowly grow and answer to more problems that our clients may have.
Yeah, awesome. So I understand you started in Europe, Belgium, then Luxembourg, and are you originally from Belgium? I know the answer, but I think it's so interesting.
Everybody's
Because you don't sound...
I'm Italian.
You're Italian, but you don't sound Italian.
I know.
That's one of the first things that caught my attention, that you don't sound Italian.
My parents, they didn't choose the right box when they made me blonde.
Yeah, exactly. So how has it been for you, this, let's say, this mix of cultures and experience? You have lived in many different places. Now you're here in Bali, established, right, with family and all. So how would that sort of impact your career and your context-based knowledge?
I think that it took me some time to realize that the older I became, I had to accept that I never really saw the difference of color or religion between people. I always give a chance to anyone to be himself or herself, and I quite have no difficulties to adapt myself. The first time I went to Dubai, I heard so many things about Dubai, Emirati cultures, religion. But after 1 week in Dubai, I had the impression to be just an international city with a lot of comfort and a thing. And when you meet locals, I never touch wood because it's really, I never had a bad experience with local people.
Right.
I think it's part also of the culture in Elementis, and those values I share them totally. It's respect. If you respect the other, they will quite automatically respect you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Part of the integrity.
And also, if I can add up to that, I think one of the great things about this multicultural environment and different countries and people is that you grow up differently, right? From a mindset point of view, I think we just open up to different experiences, different knowledges, different perspectives from everything, like religion, beliefs, principle, values, and stuff like that. So I kind of see the value of being more international, like an international citizen, rather than just stick to your homeland or, you know, the place where you were born. So,
yeah. But for sure, when you are abroad, you know that we are missing always good friends and family. And that's why we are quite looking for love into the locals we meet.
yeah, exactly.
Then that's the good part of the process.
Absolutely, absolutely. So coming back to the investment sector, usually we see investment and financial sector as boring, right? like kind of, but the times we have to talk actually and to meet, it's not boring at all. Like you make it super fun when you explain about it.
Maybe because when I remember when I arrived to Luxembourg, after 1 year or two, my wife and friends told me, stop that, you will never reach it. You know, finance, it's a hard world. You don't have the certifications, you should organize yourself. I was worried because I always loved entrepreneurship, and I was always a good listener into what motivated an entrepreneur to launch his company, his project, and not only the good stories. I really appreciated the exchange with entrepreneurs who were exchanging about all the problems they faced.
Yeah.
And there I found a passion, is that I automatically found a lot of solutions. This is the first year of my company in Luxembourg. We were really specialized in problem solving, then business development, and then financial structuring.
There you go.
Yeah, this is where I found my passion for finance. One day I remember a client had a problem and I had to get really into deep finance. And I thought, okay, my client doesn't have the scale of business to afford a big company to manage that problem. I should help him. Like I fixed the door at home one day.
Right, exactly.
Huh? If someone is paid for that, maybe I should learn. And I will talk to him.
Yeah. That's totally fair.
Yeah, if you respect the procedure and you respect this phase of apprenticeship, if you're not bad, it happens. Then I started to understand more and more the financial process, how banks work, what they expect from you, how investors are looking at a file, and what do you have to do to keep on track and to have the chance to go back to them, giving them a positive result, and then upgrade to the next step.
What I like a lot about your approach is that you take it from a more holistic approach, if you will, as a whole business and not just the financial piece. So you come up with these creative solutions as a business development guy would do, and then you build up until then you bring the structure of it. So your knowledge base of investor or financials comes to play just a role in this whole business situation. So I think that's maybe why it is so fun for you or to work with you, because we have had the opportunity to have a few meetings already, and it's super fun, you know, just to build all of these concepts and ideas. And then, well, the volume part, of course, you have to do it, right? But the whole concept is just great, and it sounds fun.
Thank you. I was reflecting while you were talking from where this finance for dummies reflex started. And in fact, it's just started with me. I'm just sharing people like I would have loved that someone shared with me, but no one did it. Because the first, there are three main concepts which motivate me to continue and to develop this approach. The first is that caring is sharing. This general speech, you heard it many times, but in what we do, if you don't share, you will not reach the full process. If you are not sure that everybody understands what we are talking about, you risk, when we talk about finances, that your investor, your client, counterparties, the chief financial officer, the banker, maybe they are just thinking about the part of the project which deserve their interest. The chief financial officer will think about, okay, this company has to be financed. Do we get the financing? The banker will say, okay, my compliance asked me to fulfill this and this requirement. Is the client meeting the expectation? And the CEO will say, okay, is the project running well?
Yeah, exactly.
Will we go to the next step? Then first, sharing is caring allows you to be sure that everybody starts from the same point. The second point is we need to achieve a certain level of precision in some cases. And I learned also during the last 15 years that you cannot stay too general. Sometimes it's important to find in the team who is getting the point and enter into some specific discussion. Sometimes I have also to invite some big experts because I cannot know everything. And this is also the point. The third is humility, to accept where our mission starts and when it ends. And sometimes some clients ask me in some cases, can you manage that? Yes, I can coordinate.
Yeah, exactly.
But you cannot manage your CEO. You cannot manage everything. You can give instruction. You can give maybe the helicopter view, but you don't know precisely what is happening in the ground. And we need really a cohesion between different parts.
Which I totally believe in the same. And I think it's very humble of you to just have that mindset when it comes to work and being able to bring special people that actually knows more about certain areas. It's what makes these ecosystems and these partnerships so valuable to end up in good businesses. So getting down to the ESG sector, which is, we're all hearing a lot about it today. What actually means, like, what exactly is the ESG and what it means in the investment funds today, in the investment sector?
When you are here,
you can just look at
the entrance of this beautiful villa, you cannot miss it. ESG, the people who will watch this podcast probably heard about it, and some of them heard about it and don't know what it is. Then, just to clarify, ESG, those three letters, stands for environment, social, governance. And those are not only three letters to make it marketingly good. Those three letters stands for an important reality which feeds the major project, which is sustainability. The last years, I think everybody watched at least once one big star making a reportage in Antarctic to show how the ice is melting and how the level of the oceans are going up. There is a global understanding of the main issue of this world. And ESG is one of the solutions investors, institutionals, countries, ONGs, NGOs, have found to try to bring a part of the solution, to motivate our daily action to be more structured in the right direction.
And what do you see, like, thinking about that, what do you think that, so it is a trend, right? It is a trend everywhere and in every sector today, I would say. But along with that comes all the greenwashing, if you will. A lot of initiatives that we are not really sure if they are looking for a true positive impact, or they are just trying to either be compliant with the certain regulations, or just looking for new revenue streams or new ways of income. So how much of this trend in the investment sector you think is somehow a true vision or a true mission to impact the planet, the society, the community, the world? And how do you think this trend has evolved in the financial sector? Like, are funds today looking for real projects? Do they really care? or is it more of a, oh, we just need to do this because it's, you know, if we want to stay in business?
Okay. There are 3 questions.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's just
the first part of your question is I would call it the classic one, and thank you for we have to address it anyway. I think when we launch a new trend which has to become a standard, there are always the supporters and the doubters. The doubters will address to it all the defaults. Greenwashers, what is the standard? It will never be a standard. ESG stands for nothing, just marketing. Companies were bored and they just said, okay, we will talk about now. Let's focus on our side because we are definitely we're definitely the ambassador of a project with full ESG.
absolutely, absolutely.
Then let's talk about how we can support ESG. And if we think to support ESG, then we go to the second question. Let's just illustrate what ESG stands really for, not only the global definition, going to sustainability. Environment. Our world has changed, and if you were with me last weeks, we met several investors, and the first thing we do, we listen to them.
Yeah.
Because an investor who has made some wealth, the first thing he wants to do is to share about why am I here? Then most of the investors who are coming to us, they all, I was thinking to that, preparing some questions, they all arrive at a point where I made my wealth, and then I realized that next step, I should invest in something which will help the world to be better.
Yes.
Fine. Then now we start to talk about ESG.
Yeah.
Then if we talk about environment, some investors will want to invest in programs which are improving the environment. And you have a lot of applications, reforesting some forest, cleaning water, and all those initiatives with plastic to fuel, desalinization of the water, educating citizens to be more responsive with the environment, etc. This we can make a podcast only for that.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen and I've met so many programs, projects, and huge number of startups that are trying to tackle down these issues and trying to contribute.
And not enough supported. Why? Because we can talk about greenwashers, but we can also talk about all those startups, all those companies which are daily investing into creating a better world, but we have still this need for return on investment. Then whatever we say, the first intention we have, it's like you decide to discover a new restaurant. You go to the restaurant, it's new, it's fantastic, it's fancy, you order a plate, but at the end, when the plate arrives, you try it. And when you try it, you restart with your with your expectation.
Yeah, exactly.
And whatever is new, you will judge it with your conventional system of thinking.
Right.
With this, it's exactly the same. A lot of investors, funds, even countries are willing to invest, but at the end, when they come with the evaluation, they say, it needs to be, we need to be rewarded. If we allocate some funds there, what will be the performance? And it's still tricky.
It's still tricky. Yes.
Then E for environment, S for social. Let's illustrate for our public or what stands for social. Just an example. Social means what is the impact on the population in where we invest?
People, right?
People, just
communities, people.
What is the impact? It's not always a school, an hospital. This is classic. We did that always. We did already that before. But what is the social impact of what we do? Okay, let's talk about electric cars. There are some challenges with electric cars.
Yeah.
Where is the lithium coming from? Everybody heard about Peru. Is finally all those electric cars production program, are they ESG? Question.
Yeah.
And then we touch to the evaluation of ESG. How is ESG evaluated? How is it? Can we already rank?
How is it like regulated, right? It's
today is not regulated.
Exactly. So
it's evaluated. There are some evaluations. Some tools are developed. You can see some rankings, the best ESG program, the best ESG company. But those are initiatives.
Yeah.
There is not yet a global initiative which
can standardize across the board.
No.
Right.
I mean, I checked regularly. There's always new tools, and each tool is bringing a new face of it. But there is no global standard. ESG, then G, governance. And governance is maybe sometimes difficult for conventional companies to understand. But governance is really the necessity to associate populations to our investments. What is the impact on population, but how do we give them a place? And if you just take some initiatives at the level of small companies, governance can be, are you respecting in your program human rights and good standards for the employment of your guys? Are you paying the wages?
Exactly.
Good contract?
Yes.
Is there a good communication between manager and employees? Then ESG is not always a complicated thing. I think the initiators wanted to make it really simple, and we try to keep it simple.
Yeah, and I think you're touching on a very good point that sometimes it actually starts from the inside of the actual companies and initiatives or the programs to the outside, especially with governance, right? So the way we structure these companies and corporations today, it's very hard to change sometimes because we are so used to it. And changing means taking new components into consideration, such as wages, inclusion programs, diversity maybe, or human rights. So it is a challenge. I think we see most of the countries at least taking their part on it. But yeah, it feels that we are at very early stages. Now, I wonder from a financial or as an industry, do you think is it growing as an industry, the ESG investments? Are there more companies, more funds looking for like true programs to invest on?
Thank you again for this question. This is, I think, the point where we have to quit ESG and go to sustainability.
Right.
Because
how so?
I don't like to
put them all together.
I'm not fan now to make the statistic on ESG,
right?
Because then I will give the baton to the one who wants to criticize ESG. It's just a statistic, greenwasher.
Yeah.
The point is now not to analyze if ESG is a trend or not. A lot of people are investing in that trend. This is not the point. For us, in defining our investment strategy, this is the point where I would prefer that we talk about sustainability. Yes, there are definitely more and more investors, investment funds, projects who are focusing on sustainability.
Awesome.
And this, it's a positive news for people, entrepreneurs, politicians, and the world globally. Because there is this consciousness that we have to improve, even if we cannot do it sometimes for us, but for our children, this planet.
I love the way you simplified this explanation, because sometimes for like us normal people, it's hard to understand how to bring all of this. It's almost like politics. It's hard to understand all of these concepts and bring it down to something simple we can actually talk about, or just, look for these projects or even develop something new. So I like the way you bring it down to earth and to something we can somehow either measure or participate in. So I'm seeing that, same way that you mentioned before, I'm seeing that more and more programs and companies are starting to pay more attention, are trying to get greener, to say in a way, but I see that there's lots of challenges, and I would believe that you have seen it too. So what do you think this transformation or this change, or just moving into this direction, what would you say are the biggest challenges? Maybe from both sides, as a company creator, developer, and for investors, because at the end of the day, investors, of course, they need to continue to be in business. So,
don't you want, Felipe, that we take the example of Elementis?
Absolutely, sure.
We are in this house. Together we know that to build this house, this first showroom house, and to follow those objectives of creating a house with natural components, long-lasting components, and sustainable. Sustainable is one point, but long-lasting, because it can be sustainable, but if in 2 years the owner has problems,
yeah,
our reputation is dead.
Yeah.
And the program makes no sense.
So it wouldn't make it really sustainable, right? Because if you need to go and change it, it's not, because sustainability can be from a construction or economic point of view as well.
No air conditioning. No air conditioning.
No, that's revolutionary. It's just the no aircon and still having this
only there
great feeling is just amazing.
Only there in a place like where we are. I mean, 95% of the entrepreneurs would tell you it took maybe 3 years to find the right partners, the right producers. Then when you find the right producers, you have to fix the logistics. When you have fixed the logistics and the producers, you have to work with your banker. Yeah. And all of this, you talk to a normal entrepreneur who is building houses, he will tell you, why are you avoiding an air conditioning system? It costs you 25K.
Yeah.
Why are you investing all this time? Then this is interesting to understand that this is where the change is made. And the change implicates sacrifices, patience, time, and who is paying for that? At a certain point, we have to forget this question and to invest, to say, okay, this is necessary for the next generation. This is necessary for the next step of our project. This is necessary for all of us.
I love it. I love it. And I love the fact that you brought partnership into the table. So, because we were just talking about some of the challenges on developing these new projects, the challenges for the investment sector. Now you brought a new concept or a new party, which is partnerships, into the whole conversation. So, well, the partners might be one of the solutions, building ecosystem around a project, a program. Partnership could be a solution to actually make this really sustainable. So it makes sense from a project point of view, it makes sense from a financial point of view, and I'm referring to partners as anyone that actually participates in the development of these new projects. So for instance, in a construction like this, you bring a partner that actually can deploy its technology for no aircon, right? And then you have the laminated wood component that adds to that. But then still, as you mentioned, you need the banker. So what happens in the traditional world is we build the projects, and then when the time comes to bring the banker, we all feel like, oh, this is the tough part. We need to talk to the financial guys. We need to talk to the bank. They're not going to like it. They will only focus in money. Do you think that this partnership concept can actually become like a one united ecosystem where we all look out for this long-term return, but based on this sustainable development?
Definitely. Let's be frank and honest. We are in a tough period where this is not common. Because technically, when you build a house, you have the funds, you buy the materials, you build the house, you pay the workers, you pay all the subcontractors, and you sell the house, you have the profit, and you share it between the one who have invested and are legally the economic beneficiaries. What we are trying to build, this new ecosystem, is different. This new ecosystem, first, implicates that all the parties involved believe on the same, share the same values, have the same middle-term objectives, long-term objectives, and stick to this way of living. How can we improve our lives? Firstly, by improving where you live. And how do you improve the place where you live? Today, we have two schools, the conventional one and the innovative one. We are definitely in the innovative one, and we would not do it differently. If you give me the chance to do it differently, and you are with me, you will not take the other street. We believe in what we do. Yeah. Then coming back to the institutions, I think that we are succeeding in what we do also because there is this passion. Passion, this is the front face, but backed by knowledge. Right. In our team, everybody is expert in something, and gathering all this expertise gives trust. And we are not impatient. We don't come today for tomorrow. We prepare, look at your weeks, all the meetings. This is an investment. You know you have to do it, because if you don't take the time to meet people, to listen to them, and to structure all this positive energy, you will miss something.
You mentioned a very important part. So let's say our vision is long-term sustainability, right? So long-term sustainable projects. So we take in consideration all of the components, the way the business of projects will be developed, and we have this long-term vision. Do you think the financial sector also can sort of buy into this long-term vision, or it will always be like long-term sustainable project versus short-term return? You know what I'm saying? Like they still need to maintain positive returns. How long or how much are we all willing to wait or invest or compromise on this long-term vision? That's why I'm trying to summarize in long-term sustainability as opposed to short-term returns.
Well, we are in an hybrid period. I will not sell you the long-term sustainability. Everybody will wait. No, it's our job to create circles, comfort zone of every party, and to stretch a bit the circle that it touch the circle of the others. Then we have to continue to work hard to be sure that all the parties have this consciousness. But meanwhile, we have to stay rational and understand that a lot of parties, especially the one who are conventional, will accept to move forward if we give them some the maximum elements from which they were used to have in the past. Then pragmatically, if you go to a bank and you ask a new way to make a financing, you have to follow a minimum of the standards.
Right.
They could adapt their risk, but the first steps have to be really consistent. And this is why we are investing a lot also in all the classic demands from institutions and banks.
That's now I'm thinking while you were speaking, and maybe the way we are sort of proposing this is just not the right approach, because we talked about this like the project developers or the startups and the business creators are the ones that are in the right side, and the investors or bankers are in the wrong side. They are always against the system. Maybe it's just a different approach, and the challenge should go both ways. This is my personal take, should go both ways. We as business developers, we should create sustainable businesses with a strong financial plan that actually makes sense and is sustainable in itself. So it can actually bring money in, so I can maintain this operation and these projects, and then I will bring any banker, financial institution partner, and they say, well, it makes sense. I want to be part of it because you have taken care of my needs or my concerns. And this business model entirely makes sense. So we could talk more about, again, using or abusing a little bit of the word, but a more holistic approach to the business and the financial piece in itself. Not just leaving it like loan me money because I'm doing great projects and just sit down and wait until, many years until it generates some profit and start paying back, because it's not fair, right? Mm-hmm. It's just a realization.
No, it makes sense. We should also consider that generations could also be taken in this equation, meaning that, don't you think that there are so many projects, sustainable projects, which are funded? There are a lot of investment funds, sovereign funds, wealth funds.
There are now dedicated funds all to climate, ocean, green projects.
They're expanding. They are not a statistic. They are really expanding. They are happy. They are making people happy. They are reaching their objectives. It's hard, it's tough, but people are investing, people are paid, programs are done. And then we have a lot of projects which are not funded. But we can also, we never talk about why they're not funded.
Exactly.
But maybe if they're not funded, it's also because sometimes they are run by older guys. We are part of the older guys. No, we have to accept it.
I don't know who you're looking at.
But the older you are, I would not say that we are arrogant, but like the new generation, they accept all the advice you give to them. They try to reflect, okay, wow, this is an advice. Thank you very much for mentoring me. I will, I will put it into practice. And you can meet a banker who will tell you, if you do that, and that, it will work. You say, okay, you will not tell me what I have to do. I'm the entrepreneur. And this, I think, it's still something we should improve.
You can very well the banker, by the way. It comes kind of natural.
Such a compliment. Thank you. No, but I think this is a complex equation, and we work hard to every day replace our humility, ego, and auto-criticism.
Absolutely. So, trying to go back to the ESG sector as a whole, even though I agree with you, it might not be just the right approach, just to trying to simplify in these three concepts. But as an industry, if we can call it yet an industry, what do you see like the future and the combination of this future trend that we just talked about, and the role of new technologies So we talked a little bit, or we mentioned a little bit about the startups trying to come into it. We all know about the AI is taking a very, very important role in every sector, pretty much. So, in your experience, what do you envision for the near future and the technology playing a role in the whole ESG sector?
Thank you for this important question. Under the control of a lot of experts in that area, I'm part of the believers that tomorrow all the projects will have to be driven by this consciousness to share all the time with the party. Environment, all the project will have to share with the environment. You don't take, you have to give. That's normal for me. Social, people. You don't take, you have to give.
Mm-hmm.
What do you give? I know I'm just exploiting people. No, you have to take. You take. Then you have to give. And governance, it's also I give because I take. It's finished this time where I'm the boss. You have to stay. You have to do. Today we have to understand that we are too many people on Earth for the resources we have. Then you have to share. If we don't share this consciousness first, and then for sure it will go through sharing resources, sharing initiatives, sharing land, we will not reach it. Then for me, this sustainable vision passes through sharing. We will have definitely tomorrow, we have no choice. We will definitely have to rethink all the way we invest, we act, we believe with the other. I remember at university, teachers were telling us, you see on the left, on the right, one of them will not be there. And then you thought maybe it's me. But for the world of tomorrow, but the world of tomorrow is the same. You can be rich. You need the others. You cannot just stand on your wealth. And the wealthy people with whom we work want to share.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Even the people on the bottom of the line, are they able to share? Is this a part of the value we teach to all the citizens in the world? This is an important point.
Very, very important. I'm glad that you brought it up, actually. I do think it's critical for the future and for how do we envision and we contribute to our community and the way we raise our kids, the way we educate people at the universities. We know that everything is sort of changing and evolving in a sense. So I think this is sharing it should be one of the very principles and values that people understand, that building these partnerships and sharing knowledge and listening to others is just a good way to generate a common knowledge base and organically grow into better solutions, better businesses eventually. One quick one. Is there any advice you would give to either younger people that are starting with their first company or are building the startup, or maybe not so just young people, but any advice to people that is now looking into getting funded and, ways to manage this sustainability approach with financial sustainability or trying to make sense for the investor side?
I would give 3 advice. First, don't do it alone. Never be alone. You can be a top performer. You will just be alone when you will have success.
Yeah.
Sharing is so good. Sharing is difficult at the beginning, but so good after. Sharing means that it's difficult to find a partner, an associate, but it's in everything. But when you found the right one, you are stronger than anyone. Then never be alone is the first. Secondly, you have to understand what you are bringing to the society. You have to do something which brings an added value.
Right, right.
Selling shoes, buying shirts, okay, this is a living activity. But I think for the young of tomorrow, we have worked enough now to bring another dimension. Then the second point would be, what will you bring to the world tomorrow? And the third point is, don't manage your finance alone. Take the assistance professional, because one of the main reasons people are failing is when they manage everything alone, especially the finances. Take the advice. It costs for sure, but does it cost?
But you can partner up as well. Sometimes if you don't have the cash to go and hire someone, just partner up.
Yeah.
It's
You cannot partner with everyone.
Well, not with everyone.
But strategic partnership are important. But as you asked me to give advice, I differentiate it from what makes the success of Elementis.
Right, right.
Maybe we can talk about it as a conclusion of no.
I was actually going to ask you, so you recently became Chief Investment Officer for Elementis now.
Thank you.
And the vision for Elementis is to continue to grow organically, yet big ambition of going global, with all the different business units being driven mainly by the resorts piece. So it's going to be a resorts of wellness resorts chain that will have places all over the world. So how did you feel about it, and why did you decide to join this community?
Easy choice. First, because the community of Elementis is composed by sympathetic people as you. You're an excellent ambassador.
Thank you so much.
But precisely, I always tried as an entrepreneur to work with and to share with people who have the same values as mine. Then first of all, Elementis, for me, it's a family. Which has already definitely decided to invest into the governance. The governance point of ESG is definitely corresponding to Elementis.
It's a good example for sure, yes.
Elementis is structured as a company which goes from up and down, right and left. Everybody has the right to talk, everybody is respected, nobody is under pressure because we have sometimes too much work, yes, but everybody lives in a respect and with integrity. Then the choice is easy because, again, I take this house as it's the flagship. If someone proposes you tomorrow to work in the company which is investing in the future of tomorrow, looking every day for innovations, trying to structure always everything on the best way, not limiting this company to a country, and giving you the chance to learn every day and to have always the place you want to have. I think it makes the job easy. This is quite the dream for everyone.
Yeah, totally.
Then in my case, I'm thankful for the opportunity you gave me to be part of this experience, to be part of this team, and to bring my humble expertise in investment to what we do. And to the point when you mentioned Elementis is getting global, I think as all the beautiful stories in entrepreneurship, the founders of Elementis didn't think to go global. They just wanted to achieve something really sustainable, a beautiful place for living, somewhere where you feel good. And then everything took another dimension. This ice wall, everyone who visited this house said, wow, this is incredible. You feel so good. All the materials and there, the relation with subcontractors, investors, owners, landowners, every piece of the project gave another dimension to the thing. Then Elementis being global, it's an evidence because when you make as principle of your company to work on the future of communities, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And I feel very represented by everything you just said. I think those are the core values. Those are the principles. And I'm so glad that we get to share it in such a natural form since the day we met.
Thank you.
And every meeting we have been able to share, I feel like we are always pushing things in the same direction. So I feel glad that we are building a healthy environment internally, and that we will be, I can see how we will be able to express that through all our business units, resorts, every place you touch of Elementis. I feel like people will be able to get this sense of community and organic growth. So just one last...
this was not the last question.
No. There's just one more, and it's more of a quote, if you will. If you had to describe Elementis in either one word or one sentence, what would you say?
This we didn't prepare.
That's the whole part of this one.
If I had to describe Elementis with one word, I would say the house where I would be proud to live tomorrow.
Wow. A house, I love that. I think we should make that a challenge so we can actually do it at some point.
And the prize is I win free holidays?
Of course. Eric, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an amazing conversation.
It was a real pleasure.
It's always a pleasure to share with you. And thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. We hope to get to you again soon.
Thank you.